Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pitt Football Postgame Show. I'm Mason Spessy here with you. I'm your host tonight. I'm actually, as you can see, in my PJs already because I'm getting ready to go to bed here. It's almost 1 in the morning, and I just got home from the game. It was obviously not the best of days, so we lost this game 27-21 to the Cincinnati Bearcats. This game was a very interesting one, to say the least. Cincinnati stopped us on our first drive. We went 3 and out, didn't gain a single yard. Then Cincinnati kind of took control of this game from the beginning with a big long play. I think it was like a jet sweep style to number 9, and he took it all the way down to like our 15 or 25-yard line, and Cincinnati scored on the first play, and then they just took it from there. They took an early 10-0 lead. We cut back into it. We made it 10-7. At halftime, it was 20-7, Cincinnati. Then later on, there was a series of bad calls in the third quarter. We stopped Cincinnati on their first series. Then we got the ball back. Jurkovec ran. Jurkovec fumbled. Cincinnati got it. It was originally ruled down by contact before the fumble, but the Cincinnati challenged that, and they won that challenge. So we turned the ball over. Then Cincinnati had a really long play. It was a touchdown play to make it 27-7. It was almost ruled an incomplete pass because it was right on the borderline of being complete and or out of bounds. They called it complete and inbounds, so that's part of why I think that happened. Then after that, there was a bad call. It looked like a targeting to me, but I guess they didn't roll a targeting. I forget the receiver was on, but yeah, it wasn't a great night for Pitt at all. But then for it all, down 27-7 and going into the fourth quarter, we found a way to make it 27-21. Our defense played a great game in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, Jurkovec and the offense couldn't do anything to help them out on their final couple series, and that's how the game ended. The Bearcats won 27-21. I was surprised a lot of people were expecting Pitt to win this game by more. To be honest with you, I knew this would be a close game. I'm surprised that Cincinnati won, but I was not surprised that it was a close game at all. Couple key takeaways. Number one, I think we are in some trouble because we're already 1-1. We may have not been a playoff team, but that's no excuse to not want to go out there and win because bowl games are on the line. You need to get 6 wins to get a bowl game. It'll be tough to get those 6 wins because look what we have coming up. At West Virginia, North Carolina, at Virginia Tech, then your bye, and then you have after the bye, it's a little difficult, but yeah. So we have a tough slate coming up for sure. I was hoping to go undefeated heading into the Notre Dame game. I understood that was a long shot from the beginning because I think we're going to lose to. I think we're probably going to lose to WVU, and we're probably going to lose to Virginia Tech. I feel good about us beating North Carolina, especially the way they played today against Appalachian State. And look at this. Even though they won, Clemson struggled against Charleston Southern. We tonight lost to the team that was predicted to be second to last in the Big 12, only behind West Virginia. So if Cincinnati is predicted to be second to last in the Big 12, West Virginia is predicted last, that tells me something. The Houston Cougars are ahead of Cincinnati in the Big 12 standings. The Houston Cougars tonight lost to Rice. So the way I look at it, Rice could possibly, theoretically, beat Pitt. That's disappointing, to say the least. I mean, I think we easily could have won this game tonight. It's just we did not play well early, and that killed us, unfortunately. A couple key things. The next key thing I want to just say is number 2. Scott Satterfield, the coach of Cincinnati, is a very, very good coach. I have a lot of respect for him, and he definitely deserves to be coaching at a higher level than he is right now, because he's a very good coach and he motivates his team well. Takeaway number 3, my last takeaway from Cincinnati, before I get into some things about Pitt, I just want to remind you guys of one thing. 2 years ago, this team made the college football playoff. Think about that. I know this Cincinnati team lost to Luke Fickell to Wisconsin, who lost tonight to Washington State. We'll get into that in my week 2 college football recap, which will be up sometime soon. They might have lost to Luke Fickell. They might have lost Desmond Ridder to the Atlanta Falcons. May have lost Sauce Gardner to the Jets. May have lost Kobe Bryant to Seattle. Sorry, my mom was just getting up to get a drink. But one thing is this. Those guys created a culture. The couple guys there were. They created that culture. And that culture, even though those guys left, that culture was passed down to the freshmen and the sophomores at the time. Now those freshmen and sophomores are juniors and seniors at Cincinnati if they didn't transfer out to Wisconsin or go to the NFL. They learned from Gardner, Bryant, Ridder, and Fickell. Those guys might have left, but their culture and their legacy stayed. Now it's the responsibility of those juniors and seniors to pass it down to members of my class, freshmen and the sophomores in Cincinnati. Can they? Time will tell for them. But we'll see next year when we play them again in the River City rivalry in Cincinnati. We'll have to see. The one thing about Pitt I just want to say real quick is Phil Jurkovec. I wasn't impressed last week much by him. I wasn't impressed today by him. Quarterbacks, it takes someone special to be a good quarterback. Let's look at this year, and let's look at the past 2 years for quarterbacks at Pitt. Let's go back to 2021 first. Kenny Pickett, recruited by Narduzzi, was there since 2017, got the extra year because of COVID, balled out senior year, first-round prospect, led Pitt to the ACC championship game and the Peach Bowl. Kittle and Slavis, unpopular amongst Pitt fans, he still led them to an 8-4 record. Not as good as Pickett's 10-2. Phil Jurkovec, who knows what his final record will be. I think it'll be similar to Slavis's, maybe 8-4, maybe 7-5, maybe 6-6, maybe 9-3 even, if we get lucky. However, I know one thing. Transfer portals only work for so long and so much. I believe that Narduzzi needs to recruit a quarterback to come in here and start for 2 or 3 years. And we have that opportunity now in Julian Duggar. He's the quarterback at Penn Hills High School in Penn Hills, Pennsylvania, not far from Pittsburgh. He is a commit to the University of Pittsburgh. Sorry about that. I just wanted to say goodnight to my mom real quick because he came to the door just to say goodnight to me. But here's the thing. Duggar, Penn Hills, Pitt commit. I watched him last night in his highlights against Pine Richland High School. Penn Hills won that game. Duggar looked very good rushing. Here's my advice to Pat Narduzzi. Keep him as a quarterback. Do not convert him to a running back. You need to develop a quarterback. Don't keep using the transfer portal because it has not worked with these past 2 guys. Kenny Pickett was a special type. Narduzzi's a better recruiter than he thinks that he is. It's hard to find special quarterbacks. You're never going to have the recruiting that Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, USC, these big brands have under Narduzzi. It's plain and simple, and it's not a bad thing. I knew from the beginning we weren't going to make the college football playoff this year. I thought we were going to be the runner-up to Clemson in the ACC championship, and they would be the ones to make the college football playoff this year. That's not going to happen. Clemson already got destroyed by Duke, and they hung in there with Charleston. And Charleston Southern had a lead at one point today over the Clemson Tigers. Here's the deal, and here's my takeaway from these first couple weeks. Possibly Duke, but I highly doubt it. Possibly Miami or Louisville, but I highly doubt it. Not North Carolina after they played today. Not NC State. Certainly not us. Not Clemson. There's no ACC team that can make the playoff and get to the national championship other than the Florida State Seminoles. Florida State is something special. I do every week on my phone power rankings, what I would vote for if I was in the top 25 committee. My top 4 for this week would be as follows. Number 1, Georgia. Number 2, Michigan. Number 3, Florida State. Number 4, Penn State. Number 5, USC. Number 6, Texas. Number 7, Ohio State. And then so on. I don't know the exact rest. But yeah. Florida State's for real. If we play the way we did tonight, we'll be lucky if it's not 42-3 at halftime. We need to do something. I guess for now we have to ride out this rest of this campaign with Phil Jurkovec. But I really do hope, that in 2024, Pat Narduzzi decides to maybe use the transfer portal one more time and get someone serious. Not Kedon Slovis and not Phil Jurkovec. Get somebody serious in here and groom Julian Duggar and make sure he's the quarterback for the future. Because next year, the ACC champion makes the college football playoff. Every 3 years, if you go back to 2018, Pitt made the ACC championship. They lost to Clemson. 2021, 3 years later, Pitt made the ACC championship. They beat the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. 2024, if we get in the playoff, or if we get in the ACC championship every 3 years, next year, December 7th, 2024, on my 20th birthday, we will have the chance to go to the college football playoff. If Pitt wants a chance to play for a trip to the college football playoff on my birthday, which I would love nothing more than that, they need to get serious and get serious now. I understand it's September the 10th, 2023, and we have a long ways to go, and we may have an easier schedule next year. But continuing to plug people in a quarterback will not work. If they want to come and attend classes at the University of Pittsburgh and earn a degree at the University of Pittsburgh because we're a prestigious academic university, let them do that. You should not be starting them, though, on your football team. And I'm not trying to critique Phil Jurkovec at all. I was a big fan of his when he was at Pine Ridge High School. However, I just think it's time that we go back to what worked. Kenny Pickett worked. Kenny Pickett took us to those ACC championship games. And now the million-dollar question is, if Pitt wants to be, because I think the ACC championship now is out of the picture for this campaign. Right now, the way things are going, I think it's going to be some combination of Florida State and Duke, Florida State and UNC, or don't even count out Florida State and Clemson. Florida State is going to the ACC championship, whether we like it or not. They're just too dominant. They will be in the college football playoff. They will probably be the national runner-up or the national champion. Jared Verse is the real deal. Jordan Travis is the real deal. I'm super excited to see them when they come in November. So the ACC Championship's basically out of reach. Travis and Verse will be playing in the NFL in 2024. The Clemson dynasty is falling apart. We have an easier schedule next year. So here's the thing that all Pitt fans need to be looking at. And here's the $1 million question I'm going to ask us as Pitt fans. And I wonder what the answer is, as we all do. On my 20th birthday, December 7th, 2024, if Pitt wants to be playing in the ACC Championship on that night, what kind of quarterback do you think we should recruit for 2024 to get us back to where we were under Kenny Pickett? Kedon Slovis was not the answer. We failed to get to the ACC Championship last year. Phil Dracovic won't be the answer either. It'll be interesting to see who is, and if we even get there. For next week, though, as it's much more closer than this scenario on my 20th birthday, because I'm only 18 now, by the way. But anyway, for next week, though, it's going to be a test. It's not going to be pretty. And you might be thinking, oh, WVU this, WVU that. WVU is a good football team. The Big 12 is the second best athletic conference for college sports. You might say the SEC is terrific and all that. Does the Big 12 not? Does the SEC have as good as basketball and football both combined as the Big 12? I don't think so. If Pitt, a middle-of-the-pack ACC team, loses to the team projected second to last in the Big 12, what do you think is going to happen? The Big 12 is a very good conference. Pitt loses to any of those Big 12 teams, except for maybe the one they play next week. It's going to be a dogfight in Morgantown. We're hated down there. They don't like us. We don't like them. We need to come out swinging. We cannot start the way we started tonight, or else. This game means everything to Pitt fans. 13-9, remember that. How great of a feeling was that? Last year, Bryce Ford-Wheaton almost gets us the ball, bobbles it. Devin Sauer returns it for a pick six. We stop JT Daniels and WVU. We won the game and we basically ruined WVU's season. This coach right now, Neil Brown, it's funny because I'll share this because we're on the birthday topic. Sarah's the same birthday as my sister. Neil Brown, the coach of WVU, is on the hot seat. He is very much disliked by the people of Morgantown. There's one thing I think that can save Neil Brown. That's a win next Saturday night. I think Neil Brown's job may come down to a win next Saturday night. For Mountaineers, the Mountaineers, if he doesn't get that, I think he's done. If he does, I think he repairs some wounds that he caused. And remember too, WVU lost last week 38-15 to Penn State. If we can go into Morgantown and beat them by just as many, that can show that today was a fluke. We need to turn the page. We need to just cough this up as a bad loss. We need to go into Morgantown, and we need to do some damage. That's all I have for you guys tonight. I'll see you tomorrow, as I will do my college football post-game recap for some other games and all that. And I will also be doing my Steelers pregame. So have a good one, everybody. Stay safe. Have a great night. Take care. Peace.